Right, so in this video I'm going to do challenge 7a. So copy out a table below in Python. The data is name, age, height and then hair colour. So obviously name, age, height, hair colour. It's important to know what you're doing with arrays because you need to know which box each variable is in. So name is 0, 1, 2 and 3. So let's get Python up. Well, I'll copy this first. Oh, did I copy that? Do it again. Go to Python and delete that and paste. Right, so if I print out people data, let's just do that so that I can see it come out. Bang, there we go. Right, print out each element in the 2D array. So I've got to print out each element one at a time. So I need to go like boom, 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 boom. The key to thinking of this is that remember, when you access the data, people 0 will be equal to that. Okay, so people 0, 0 is equal to Mary because that is the 0 person and the 0 data. That would be 1, 2, 3. So if I just write that so you can see, I'll just do, there you go. So there's 1 and it'll be 2 and 3 would be the others. So what we want really is we want essentially variables that we can replace these with that go 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, and then the next one 1, and then this variable goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. So essentially we need to end up with it basically going 0, 0, 0, 1, I'll do a comma, 0, 2, 0, 3, and these have to be two different variables, and then we'd have 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, and so on and so forth. And if we have those, we can use those coordinates to access each piece of data. And obviously you then have 2 and then 3. And they have 2, 0, 3, 0. Because that is 0, 0, that's 1, 0, that's 1, 1 2, 0, that's 3, 0, that's 4, 0. So this is like a coordinate system where the first number gives you the row and the second number gives you the column. So if we were to go at 3, 4, that would be 0, 1, 2, 3, and it'd be the... Oh, there's no 4. We'll do 3, 2. So that'd be 3 and then 0, 1, 2. So that would be at position 3, 2 because it's 0, 1, 2, 3 and it's 0, 1, 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to loop through in a double for loop. So because it's a 2D array, for I in range, and then we do the length of people data. And what that will do is give me the first one, 0 to 1 to 4. There you go, 0 to 4. So that's going to give me the person one at a time. So if I was to print out people data I, then I'm going to get the people instead of that. Right, okay. But now what I want to do, instead of printing out that, I need to loop through 0, 1, 2, 3. So I need a loop inside a loop. So now I'm going to do it in the length of people data I. Now I know we know the length, so we could actually just write 4, but because it is in theory possible that the 2D array is different sizes, so we're going to do the length. So it will check the length of each one. So if that one suddenly had an extra one here, it would access that. So now if I print I, j, you're going to see I get every coordinate because I is going to, this loop will happen inside this one. So this is going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 when this is 0. Then this will be 1. So this will start at 0, and this will go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then this goes to 1, and this goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 0, 1, 2, and so on and so, or 0, 1, 2, 3, sorry, and so on and so forth. So basically, this is every coordinate we need. So if we go data equals people data, I, j, and then print out data, so we're going to say, instead of printing out the numbers, access the data at those coordinates, store it in the word data, and then we're going to print it out, and we will get every single piece of data. There you go. So that's the first one done in low. Medium, print out each person in the array one at a time. So this one, that would print everything out, but what if we wanted to print out each person in a nice line? Well, I know we did before do that, where we just printed this, but that has all these stuff in it, and we can't get rid of that. So let's go back to this. Right. So this is a tricky one because what we're going to do is we're going to start a variable blank, Then we're going to add the data. Now, I'm going to add the data. There's going to be an error in a second, but I'm going to put a space after it. And then after the loop, we're going to print out all the data we found for that person. So we start a variable blank, then we loop through, and we're going to add that to this text variable with a space in between. Then we're going to print it out, and obviously then it will get reset back to blank for the next person. But it won't work because it will crash. And the reason it will crash is because it's trying to add that to a string, and that's a number. So we need to convert data to a string. I know that's a string, but that one's not. And then we'll get it printed out. So we set a variable blank. We loop through, adding each one of these to a variable called text. And then we print text, and it gets reset back to 0. Blank. Alright, so calculate the average age and height of the group and print it out. Well, this is actually a very easy one. So we just do age equals nothing, height equals nothing, and then we simply, for each person, you don't do it inside the loop because we know what age and height are, so we don't need to loop through. I'm going to delete that because it's just a different code now, not really part of this. So we don't need to loop inside it because we know the boxes that have age and height. So we know that age equals age plus people data I, and then the box that has the age in it is box 1. And then the same for height. There you go. And then we just print out age divided by... Now we've got to get the average, so... people. If we get the length of people data, that's how many people are in it. So... yeah, I mean, you could actually up here do a thing that says like number of people equals length of this. And in fact, that's probably better. So you do num people equals that, and then you can just use num people every time rather than recalculating it. Oh, I did copy there. There you go. Because the number of people is equal to the length of this array, which would be 4. There you go, there's the average age and average height. Obviously, I could do some message around that, but, I'm not going to bother. So, last but not least, super height. The user enters a name, and then you search through the database and print out the people's data that matches the name. If matches no one, then say not found. Right, so we get them to enter a name. And then we're going to check. Now, we don't need to do a 2D array here because we also know name is in the first box. So we can go n equals people data I, because that's obviously going to be this one, then this one, then this one, and it's 0. And then we go if n is equal to name, print. I'm just going to print out, I'll print out name. And then I'll do found, add found. There we go. So it's going to print out name found. I'm going to delete that because it's not going to know what they are. I'm going to delete that just to simplify this. Right, so enter name, Steve. I think Steve's in it, yeah. And then Steve found. The problem is, though, if we enter no one, it doesn't say not found. And what a lot of kids do is do this. They go, right, aha, I'll do an else. And if it's not it, I'll do not found. But the problem is, this is going to print not found for every single person. Plus, if we write Steve, it's also going to print it 4 times. Because that is saying that the current person we're looking at is not Steve. So not Steve, Steve. Not Steve, not Steve, not Steve. So what you do is you don't do that. You start a variable with found and you set it to false. Then if you find the person, you change the variable to true. And then after the loop is finished, you can go if found is equal to false, then we're going to print not found. So think about this for you. Start a variable with false. So if we never find someone, we never change it to true. And then if we do, we obviously it stays at false. If we do find someone, it goes to true, and then this wouldn't be printed. So let's run it, put some gibberish in, not found. Run it, put Mary in. I think Mary's in there. Mary found. There you go. So that's how you do that challenge, and good luck with the next one.